Morning, everybody. We do have a few guests, and if you can stand so we can welcome you, that would be great. We have our speaker, Lisa Barshinger, Ron Unger, and Casey Lofties. Welcome.
Please give our guests a round of applause. Thank you. All right, next we have 50-50.
We win. Hey, Ben. Well, you have to pick it out of here.
For those of you who are not regular attendees and our guests, the last 2 weeks, the person who has picked the number has picked their own number 2 weeks in a row.
Well, here it is. 799. 799. And it actually won. I bought 2 tickets, so the 800 was not it. 799 comes right before 800. They won.
All right, we're on a streak.
Also dark, whatever I want.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's great. All right, I will admit I forgot my agenda this morning, so I apologize if I have forgotten anything because I wrote it down quickly from memory. One of the things that I wanted to do was to start making announcements and recognizing birthdays and anniversaries. So this month, our birthdays are Sheriff Condor, another unknown person, Todd Curl, and Jeff Kyle. Happy birthday to you all. Anniversaries, I'm going to do the club history first. So club history, I've been meeting with some of our charter members who have been with the club the longest to get kind of like some of the things that they remember from the early days of the club. And I met with Jim Walters last week, and Jim told me that Rotary East York earlier had done a big chicken barbecue. Brad Holleran was one of our members. Brad and his wife owned the Meadowbrook restaurant. So they did a big chicken barbecue at the Meadowbrook. Tables and chairs came from Jim's Walters Mount Zion UCC Church. And Peck Foster, if any of you remember, he was a member of Pennsylvania government. He had a country western band, so I've learned something new myself. So he was the music for the day. I bring it up before anniversaries because I want to recognize Blair Ansell, who has been with our club for 32 years this month, as of this month. But not a charter member, but pretty darn close to it anyway. Also, Tom Pokopek celebrates 14 years, 14 or 17 years. And Hunter Mink is at 10 years. And Hunter and I just talked about how fast time flies. So to our new members, I hope you enjoy it as much as our seasoned members do. So I did want to recognize National Night Out. We had 4 volunteers that went over and helped out at Springer's Ferry Park. It was Jim Norton, Chris Izzo, Karen Comrie, and Jim Walters. So thank you all for doing that. They said it was a nice event, so. Okay, I'm at a loss. Anybody else have? That's as far as my agenda of memory went. Does anybody else have any announcements that they want to make? Great. Thank you.
So a part of my role as past president is to serve as the chair of our nominating committee. So every year we need to elect a slate of officers for the upcoming Rotary year. And it sounds like it's strange to start talking about that because our Rotary year really won't officially start until next July. But in saying that, we are going to have two positions that we need to fill. And the first is going to be our treasurer position. So for those of you that may not be aware, Diane Yocum is going to be our president in 2026 to 27. So she is our current treasurer, so she's going to be moving on to president of the club. So we need somebody to fill in as our treasurer, and then the other position that we're going to need is for the president after her year. And it sounds like that's a long way off, but again, in getting everything lined up, that's something that we need to look for. So I'll say if there's anybody that has interest, let me know in either of those positions. But if not, we're going to come shake you down at some point in time. So we need to fill those two spots. We want to have that slate of officers together by December so that we as a club can vote on it. Again, it seems like December may be a long way off, but before we know it, as Jim Norton had said this morning, we're already looking at Halloween being right around the corner, and Christmas won't be all that far away either. So anyway, if you have an interest in either of those two positions, please let me know, and we'll be looking for interested candidates.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you for taking on that responsibility. So, all right, I think we're ready for our speaker. Nate, I think you also had an announcement that you wanted to make too. Double duty.
Morning, everybody. So last week we unveiled opportunities for sponsorship of Pints for Polio, which is going to get us to that next level in our fundraising to fight polio. There's some information on the table in the back. I'm excited to announce that we have our first sponsor on board. Crystal Perry has jumped on board as a friend level sponsor. So thank you, Crystal. Round of applause for Crystal, please. And hopefully that'll open the floodgates for everyone else in this room to jump on board as a sponsor for Pints for Polio. I'm also up here to introduce my friend and our speaker today, Lisa Barshinger. I'll tell you a little bit about Lisa before we bring her up. Lisa brings over 2 decades of experience in the banking industry with a strong focus in the credit union sector. In October of 2024, she made a meaningful career transition into the nonprofit world, becoming the executive director of the White Rose Leadership Institute, home of Give Local York. Originally from Lancaster, Lisa is a graduate of Millersville University, where she studied elementary education with a minor in special education. She's called Red Lion home since 2008, where she lives with her husband, Ron, who's here today, and their 2 sons, Jaden, 15, and Carter, 13, both competitive swimmers. In her free time, Lisa enjoys traveling and exploring the history and culture of new places. Lisa is actively engaged in the York community, currently serves on the UPMC Pinnacle Foundation Board of Directors, where she chairs the Community Connections Committee. She also volunteers with Junior Achievement, is an ambassador for the York County Economic Alliance, serves on the Steering Committee for Legal Legacy, and sits on the Membership Engagement Committee for the Downtown York Rotary Club, which she joined in January. Very busy. Since stepping into her new role, Lisa has embraced the nonprofit sector with a passion and energy. On May 1st and 2nd, she successfully led her first Give Local York event, a 24-hour online giving celebration that raised critical funds for hundreds of local nonprofits. The event brought the community together in powerful and inspiring ways, reaffirming the importance of local philanthropy and collaborative leadership. Lisa's excited to continue building on that momentum as she leads the organization into its next chapter. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Barshinger.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here this morning. I'm excited to talk to you about the White Rose Leadership Institute and Give Local York. Typically, when I introduce myself as being from the White Rose Leadership Institute, I kind of get looks of, I'm not sure who you are you a new organization? And so I'm here to tell you that if you had that same reaction, that's okay. Most people know us as Give Local York. But Give Local York is actually just one of many programs that we run at White Rose Leadership Institute. So I'm excited for this opportunity to tell you a little bit about the organization and really how we got started. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So the White Rose Leadership Institute, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. And this is a picture of our board. We have 8 voting board members and then our immediate past president. But our board is actually looking to grow. So we do have an application process if you're interested after today to learn more about what that looks like. But we have different committees you can get involved in on top of serving as a board member. So how did we get our start? We got started with Bob Pulo. He is the founder of the White Rose Leadership Institute. And this actually started many, many years ago, prior to Give Local York even being a thing. And he started it with the York Federal Fellows Program. And we're going to talk about that here in a couple of minutes. But most people think that we just got started with Give Local York, but really it started back in 2006. The White Rose Leadership Institute didn't become an actual organization, an entity until 2018. But really the idea of the organization started in 2006 with Bob Pulo and the York Federal Fellows Program. So our mission, our vision, really we're here to support our local nonprofits and make a stronger, healthier community and make stronger nonprofit leaders. And that's where this idea of the York Federal Fellows came in. And again, we will talk about that. But what we do is serve our nonprofit organizations. Up until June 1st, we didn't have a permanent home. We didn't have an office. We kind of bopped around working in different co-working spaces. So when I started in October of 2024, I knew how important it was for me and our now Give Day director, Casey, to have a space to call our own, to have a home where our nonprofits would be able to come in at any time and ask for help or just sit along with us, brainstorming different ideas. And so after we really got into the organization, we formed a relationship with the York College and the CCE, the Center for Community Engagement. And from there, we developed this partnership and ended up moving into Market View Arts downtown, right across from the market. So we're really excited to have a ribbon cutting coming up on Tuesday, August 26th at 11:30. And we encourage you to join us for that. So our York Federal Fellows Program, as I mentioned, started back in 2006, and it was an idea by Bill Wolf to be able to support our nonprofit leaders. Our nonprofit leaders pour so much into their organizations, into the community, and not so much into themselves. And that was something that was recognized by Bob Pulo. And he wanted to find a way to help support those nonprofit leaders, but to support themselves, not their organizations, not the community, because they already do that. He wanted them to be able to do something for themselves. So when this program started in 2006, a $5,000 gift was given to these York Federal Fellows. And it was a gift that could be used both on professional and personal. So 70% of that gift was to be used on something professional, whether it was attending a conference, going back to school, whatever that fellow felt like they needed for their professional world. But then 30% of it for personal. And it has been amazing to learn about the different stories of what these fellows have done with this gift. Some have gone on an African safari. Actually, one of our graduates from last year went back and traced her family roots back over in Europe. And it's something that she did by herself. She left her husband at home, left her kids at home. It was her first time solo traveling. And it was a really powerful moment for her to not only, get on an airplane, go to another country without a friend or, a family member, but then to be able to trace her roots back through, a concentration camp, and she learned so much. And then some, like a fellow this year, she's taking swimming lessons. She has never learned how to swim and has always been a little fearful of water because of that. And here she is in her late 30s or early 40s, and she's now learning how to swim. And while that might seem so basic, it means so much to her. And so having that opportunity to be able to do that really does mean a lot. And so at the end of the fellowship year, we have a graduation. And at that graduation, they're able to give a presentation to everyone in attendance on what they got out of that fellowship year and how it's going to make such an impact on the community because of the time they were able to pour into themselves. So it's a really unique program. Up here, you'll see our current class of fellows. We have Amy Brillinger, Soli Pinos, and Teddy Fisher. Currently, our class is made up of 3 fellows. And throughout the year, they attend different sessions where alumni of the program actually lead these sessions. So they lead the sessions on different leadership topics, but something that they learned throughout their fellowship year is what they're sharing with our current fellows. So it's kind of a full circle moment. You get to go through the program, you get to learn a lot about yourself, but then you do have an opportunity to pour that back into, another class. So our class of 2025, like I said, is currently 3 fellows, but we're really excited in 2026. It's actually going to expand to 4 fellows, thanks to a grant and support from the York County Community Foundation. In addition, one of the changes we made for our upcoming class is the amount of money, the gift that the fellows are going to receive. It has been $5,000 for the last 20 years. $5,000 today is not the same as it was 20 years ago. And so we were thankfully able to bump that up to $7,500. So in 2026, it'll be the first class of 4 and the first class to receive that $7,500 gift. So really, this is how the White Rose Leadership Institute got started, through the York Federal Fellows Program. So then back in 2018, really the planning started, I should say, in 2017. A group of fellows got together. They saw what was going on in Lancaster with the Extra Give, and they said, why can't we do that here? Our nonprofits are in need of that exposure, that fundraising as well. Why isn't that something that we can do? And so in 2018, they successfully pulled off the first Give Local York. And at that point, when they saw the excitement, they saw the need for the community, and they realized that this was going to be something that was here to stay, they created the organization, the White Rose Leadership Institute. So typically when I say White Rose Leadership Institute and you don't know what that means, it's because it's a little backwards. Really, Give Local York was established first, and then the entity, White Rose Leadership Institute, was established after. So after they established the White Rose Leadership Institute, they had Give Local York up and running. Then they pulled the York Federal Fellows Program under that same umbrella. So now, today, the White Rose Leadership Institute, yes, we're the home of Give Local York, but we're also the home of the York Federal Fellows Program. So Give Local York, if you're not familiar, is the largest Give Day of the year. It's always held on the first Friday in May. So this upcoming year, it is as early as it could possibly be. It is actually Thursday, April 30th and Friday, May 1st. But to date, since 2018, we have raised over $30 million for our local nonprofit organizations. And that's over 350 different nonprofit organizations, I should say. In 2025, we did hit the record here in York of $5.58 million in that 24-hour period with almost 13,000 donors. Didn't quite get there, and we're hoping to get there in 2026. So we're counting on all of you to be one of our unique donors. And we received over 21,000 donations. So how can you help? I know I mentioned being one of our unique donors, helping us hit that goal of 13,000 donors, but there are so many other ways that you can help support Give Local. So the unique thing about Give Local is that when you give during Give Local, your dollars actually go further. And that's a big question we get asked. Why give on Give Local? Why not give throughout the year? We're not saying not to give throughout the year. But what we are saying is when you do give on Give Local, your dollars go further because of our prizes, because of our stretch pool, and really you're giving those nonprofits the exposure that they need. So prizes are something that are given out throughout that 24-hour period. We have different prizes that are sponsored by businesses or individuals have sponsored prizes as well. So just to give you an idea of a prize, there's a prize at 7:43 p.m. where a business was established in 1943. And so they wanted to tie it into a prize. And so they match every donation that comes in during that 1 minute up to $1,500. So every donation coming in is matched dollar for dollar until that $1,500 is depleted. So that's just one example. There are also prizes geared towards different nonprofit, category-specific nonprofits. We had an animal hospital donate a prize during like the 6 a.m. hour, and they called it the dog walking prize. So any organization that received a donation in that category, in an animal category, they were entered into a random drawing to win a $1,000 prize. So not only do we have prizes, but then we also have our stretch pool. And our stretch pool, we actually hit a goal with a stretch pool of over $300,000. So that stretch pool then gets divvied up between all of our participating organizations based on unique donors. So the more unique donors the organization has, the bigger piece of that stretch pool that they're going to get. So there were some organizations getting $15,000 extra, $20,000 extra from that stretch pool just because they were able to bring more donors to the table. We actually had our largest prize in Give Local York history this year, so we were excited to unveil that as well. It was $10,000 total. We've never had a prize that large. So we did break that up into multiple prizes, but one of them being a $5,000 prize. And typically prizes are around $1,000 or $1,500, but never have we seen a $5,000 prize. And that went to a very small nonprofit, Coats of Friendship, that's actually run by a group of high school students. And when they learned that they received that prize, it was a tearjerker. They actually made a video and posted it on social media. And it's moments like that that tell you why this is so important. So not only are we looking for prize sponsors, we're looking for contributions to our stretch pool, but we're also looking for event sponsors because this event can't go on without that support. So there are many different sponsorship opportunities available. But in addition to that, if you're not looking to be a sponsor, but you still want to get involved, we do have our business fundraisers. And our business fundraisers are a way to rally the troops at your office and make it a friendly competition, see who can raise the most money. Some businesses pick one organization that they're raising their money for, and some businesses allow their employees to give to any organization. They just want to see their employees give. However, one new thing in 2025 that we introduced was our business fundraiser competition, because Who doesn't want to dress like a banana and run the bases at a York Revolution game, right? So we made it a competition and we took the top 5 businesses who had the most engaged employees. We didn't do it on dollar amount. We did it on the percentage of participation. So we looked at how many employees your business has and how many participated, and that's what got you in the top 5. From there, the top 5 put on those fruit costumes, they ran the bases, and the fruit that crossed the home plate first won $1,000 towards the organization of their choice. So it was just a fun way, again, to really get people engaged, get them out in the community, rally the troops, and get people excited to give. This is just a snapshot of our campaign results. This is also in our impact report, which will be on our website, so you can check it out a little closer if you're ever interested. Some new initiatives that we're working on for this upcoming year, and actually you saw it here first because some of these haven't even been announced to the community. One that has been announced is PIE, Philanthropy and Education. One thing that we talk about often is how important it is to engage our younger generation and to get them to understand what philanthropy really is. And often when we think about philanthropy, we think of writing that check, right? Well, philanthropy is so much more. It's time, it's talent, and it's treasures. And so if we can get students engaged in philanthropy now at this age, that's really just going to grow that momentum for them, and it will eventually come full circle where they're giving their time, their talent, and their treasures. So one thing we're doing is partnering with high schools, and we're doing community resource fairs. We're giving our nonprofits an opportunity to set up tables and have students from the high school walk around that gym asking the different nonprofits questions. It's like a scavenger hunt. The nonprofits will supply the question, giving the students a guide of what they can ask. They'll fill out their little scavenger hunt, drop it in a box, and then one or a few students will be selected as a winner and they'll receive a little prize for participating. But the whole idea is that number one, those are resources that are available to those students. And perhaps those students have a need that we don't even know about, and they didn't even know that an organization existed that could help them. So that's one way for them to be able to make a connection, have a friendly face for those resources that they may need. In addition to that, it's an opportunity for them to learn what organizations are out there, to maybe get excited about working with one of those nonprofits, and perhaps becoming a volunteer. And today, most students need to put in volunteer hours in order to graduate. And so this is one way to help connect them with the community, with those volunteer hours, not only for a graduation requirement, but in hopes that they develop a passion for the organization that they're volunteering for. And if they develop that passion and they continue to volunteer, perhaps down the road they become a board member or a committee member. And again, taking it full circle, after years of giving their time and their talents, now they're the ones writing that check and giving of their treasures. So philanthropy and education is something that we are very passionate about. We're excited to get out into our high schools and start talking to students about what philanthropy really means. We have a little bit more coming to PIE, but you'll have to stay tuned on that. We also have Team GLY and Give Day Cafe, which we're going to be announcing here soon, so I don't want to say too much. But we do have these exciting new initiatives coming for 2026, just continuing to grow that excitement for Give Local and for our nonprofit organizations. Just some upcoming events. We are participating in First Friday in September. And thanks to KIG, Kochman Insurance Group, they are our sponsor. Help us make waves across York. We are actually going to have a dunk tank. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we can get Nate in the dunk tank for us. Oh, okay, great. He just committed. But I can also tell you that the gentleman sitting next to him is going to be in that dunk tank as well. and that is my husband, voluntold. That's part of the role. So yes, we will be selling opportunities to throw balls at the dunk tank and hopefully dunk these gentlemen here, as well as some other community members. But please come on out in September. This will be our first Friday, so we're excited to get involved there. We also have Join Us for a Cup coming up. This is an opportunity to get our nonprofit leaders together, as well as our sponsors or the community. Come on out. We are going to be talking about different ideas on how to promote Give Local, how to get students more involved, the community more involved. But the unique thing about this is that we don't have an agenda. You're going to set the agenda. So whoever is in attendance is going to have an opportunity to raise their hand and say, this is what I want to talk about. And we're going to have a table set up just for them to be able to talk about it. We'll have 3 different tables with 3 different topics, and you can sit at whichever table really speaks to you and you're hoping to get more out of. So we're not setting that agenda, like I said, it's really all about you and what you're looking to get out of it. So we encourage you to join us, and it is at our new office at Market View Arts. So feel free to stop down and join us. That's pretty much all I have. The organization is run by just 2 of us. Casey Lofties is our Give Day director. She's here with me as well. So it is really just the 2 of us. We do have a part-time admin assistant and a part-time bookkeeper. But other than that, we wear many hats, both between the York Federal Fellows Program and Give Local York. But it's something that we're both very passionate about and would be happy to talk with you more. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Lisa? Oh, great. Yes.
Yes. So you can choose to make an online gift during that 24-hour period, or they do accept offline donations leading up to Give Local. But yes, 100% of that gift does go to that organization. Yeah, great question. So we opened registration in early to mid-November. We're still working on nailing down that date right now, but we put it out to the community. Anyone who is a 501c3 is eligible to participate. And there is just a very small registration fee. It starts at $200, but they register to participate. And as long as they're a 501c3 and they have that designation through the IRS, they're eligible. Yes. Great question. So the selection process is actually going on right now. We have an application that the fellows fill out. However, there's a little bit more involved in that. So first they fill out an application saying that they intend to fill out the full application. After they fill out that application of intent, we partner them with an ambassador. And that ambassador is typically an alum of the program, and they kind of talk through the idea that that person has during their fellowship year. They talk through, they flush through what the budget would look like, how they're going to spend the money, and really get an idea of why they're interested in participating. And after they spend time with that ambassador will say, yeah, I think this would be a great idea for you. Or I don't know, maybe you should, flush it out a little more, wait another year. But from there, then they can fill out that full application. And then we have a rubric that our selection committee uses to determine who those fellows are going to be for that following year. So there is really more of a process to it. The fellowship year is a calendar year, so it starts in January, runs through December. Graduation takes place usually in early January. Oh, and I'm sorry, the $7,500, typically that money comes from our organization. As I mentioned, next year, the York County Community Foundation is providing us with support to be able to sponsor a fellow. So yes, we're absolutely open to the idea of partnering with businesses and being able to sponsor additional fellows. The more support that we have, the more fellows we can put through the program. And actually, we have a fellow right here. Any other questions? Yeah. So it varies from year to year. Last year we had 323, 321, 321 organizations participate. So from year to year, that really varies. I will say we had a record number of new organizations participating in 2025. So that was really promising and really exciting for us as well, being new in our roles. Great question. So we differ from the United Way in that the United Way has one unique focus, which is ALICE, asset limited, income constrained, but employed. And so as long as you fit in that bucket, you're able to receive funds. But from what we can see and what you can see from our numbers, there are so many organizations that do not fit in that bucket, and they need that support as well. And actually, I'm going to give one example that I saw yesterday, just scrolling through Facebook. We live in the Red Lion School District, and LJM Elementary School has been trying to raise money for years to put an inclusive playground in for their students. And they participated in Give Local York. They were able to raise those funds. And yesterday, they were actually installing that inclusive playground. And how exciting, with a new school year getting ready to get started, they wouldn't be able to participate with the United Way. Give Local York gives them that opportunity. So that's a great question. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much for your time this morning. If you have any other questions, Casey and I will be here.
Thank you, Lisa, very much. I can actually make comments on both aspects of her organization. One, as a former nonprofit leader, Give Local York was a huge fundraiser for us. It was very easy to do. It was actually a lot of fun too. So we really enjoyed that. And I am a federal fellow alumni. I think I hold the longest record for completion because I was a member of the class of either 19 or 20, and we all know what happened in 20. So my professional development was to go to a Spanish immersion school in Costa Rica because I had a very high percentage of Hispanic speaking clientele. But then the pandemic hit and then I retired. So I was still able to go to it. I did a 2-week stint. The first week I stayed with a family. The second week my husband joined me. I will tell you, I berated myself as I flew down by myself to Costa Rica. What am I doing at my age, going to a foreign country by myself, and I don't know the language. But I will tell you, the next time I would do it, I'd leave my husband at home. Because I had a really great time, and I can still pick up some Spanish words, so not as much as I used to. So anyway, Lisa, thank you very much. In honor of your presentation, I have a book for you to choose. Casey, if you want to pick one out too, you're more than welcome to. And it will be donated to Children's Library, either at the YWCA, I gotta get that down, or Children's Aid Society. So thank you very much. And if there's nothing else for the good of the cause, we are adjourned. See you next week.